Hello, everyone, and welcome to RHAP's coverage of Australian Survivor Redemption. I'm your host, Shannon Guss, here to talk about Episode 5. Chappell, how are you? You got the hat for the non-video watchers? You've missed the beaver hat and the glass.
I'm not okay.
Oh, he's ignoring. Okay,
I'm
that's
not
what
okay.
I thought it was a dog
I'm not okay.
thing.
I'm not okay.
No, yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I'm wearing my black hat, my black shades, my Wild Desert Cowboy shirt because I'm in mourning. This is grief. This is what grief looks like.
Is that grief in Texas?
Yeah, this is grief in Texas. Yeah, I'm wearing boots as well. So you know it's real. So, Shannon, a peek behind the curtain for the listeners of this podcast. I am supposed to be the first podcast of this cycle. I did episode 1. I'm supposed to do episode 4. Shannon has forced me. I pushed back against this so much. My body kept saying, that's wrong. It's upsetting the natural order. She said, nope, Chappell, you're doing 5. I pushed back. We have the receipts. And then I go to watch 5 and I'm thinking, was this rigged? Shannon, did you do this to hurt me? Because if so, it worked. I'm hurt.
Well, there was a lot going on. I'm having a child, so I was trying to coordinate that around the Traders finale and Survivor 50, and this is what worked out. You know, I've had this podcast planned for so long. I've envisioned this exact thing because when originally they were like, what date do you want your C-section? Actually, I was like, let's do it tomorrow so I can podcast today. And Peter said, that's a crazy reason to schedule that. We're not doing it. We'll schedule it today. But they couldn't fit us in today. And that's when we're doing tomorrow. And that's why I said, I can podcast on that day. And I've seen it in my mind's eye. It's weird to get to this point, actually. And we did it. I wish it wasn't so sad. I wish it was more of a celebration. But it doesn't feel like you're in that place for that.
It didn't have to be sad because we should be talking about episode 4 tonight. Episode 4 tonight.
Yeah, but
we should be talking about Paula.
Yeah, we should be. But unfortunately, and then I guilted the PR, thank you to Channel 10, for giving me the episodes even earlier because I'm having a baby. And now we're talking about episode 5, which is great for me because honestly, I saw Harry's whole arc, RIP. And now I can like rage quit covering the season and like put my money where my mouth is on that. And I do feel good about that, to be honest.
I wish I was having a baby so I could rage quit the season because I'm sad. I'm so sad. Shannon, I'm so sad. I don't like this at all. But when I say I saw the writing on the wall, you know, when I listened to you and Puya talk about Harry and his cheeky little move where he's, you know, votes out Eliza, but doesn't vote out Eliza. And I was like, I don't like it. I don't like this. Puya was being way too kind. I was at home yelling at the podcast, agreeing with you, sadly. And so then it was like the slow train wreck from there. You know, it's like that was the first domino, then the Paula thing. And I thought to myself, okay, he can come back for this. He can come back from this. But then the sound of my own voice starts ringing in my head. And I look back to that preview podcast that we did, that draft, where I said, he likes doing the chaotic thing. The easy thing is right there. And he chooses violence. And that's why I'm a fan. And in my mind, that's why we lost my favorite Survivor AU player. That is not okay. This is not okay. He's got to come. He can come back again, right? We can do redemption season.
I to the last moment was like, but is it a non-elim? Puya was joking yesterday that maybe my last podcast would be for a non-elim. I was begging for that. It was only really when like the torch got snuffed, he was walking down. Peter's like, I don't think he's coming back. And
Redemption Island, nothing.
Redemption Rock. There's got to be something for Redemption.
Edge of Extinction. This would have been a perfect time.
No, I've cried my tears over this. Like now we're in mourning. Like we can't come back. But it is an interesting question. Is it like, did this Flint move get Harry voted out? Or was he already going to be voted out and he tried something and it went poorly? And I don't think we know. I think
Shannon,
yeah.
This bothers me so much because I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking, and it's not fair to us. It's not fair to us that there's a world where this show is feeding us a fake story where it was all good until Harry did this, and then everybody just decided that unanimously because the vibes were bad and he was doing weird shit like holding the tribe hostage that we should all just vote him out because Jackson made this sacrifice. But that's what the show wants us to believe. The problem is that we should be able to trust this show to give us true details of the events as they happened. And Shannon, I don't know if it's that I don't want to believe it or that we have been shown so many false narratives over the years in Survivor, but not just AU Survivor, regular Survivor, US the version, whatever, Big Brother. The show be lying because they want a compelling story. They want it to be interesting, and I think it's far less interesting if everybody just comes like, all right, so Harry today, right? So for the next, 45 minutes, we're just going to talk about how we vote now, Harry. It's not as compelling, but a tiny part of me wants to believe that they wouldn't lie to us like that. So I'm torn.
Oh, that's stupid. What are you, 5 and believing in Santa Claus?
I like the world where they lied because it doesn't lead me to believe that Harry just, set the whole beach on fire like he said he was and just went out in a blaze of glory. But if they're telling the truth, that's exactly what he did, right? He torched his whole game for the possibility of the chaotic move. I feel like we're gonna hear the exit press and it's gonna be like, no, he was always going to go home. But the show definitely wants us to believe that he did this to himself.
We'll need to hear from the Lotties, Asha, Cam, the people in power to one day hear, how much Harry did this to himself at tribal council. I kind of think, it's not necessarily so binary. Like, definitely at a point they were on Jackson. They were between, I think this is all true. All the people on the bottom, Lyndall was an option until she wasn't. She couldn't be. Harry and Jackson. Where was it exactly before tribal council? That we don't know. And I honestly don't expect the show to be like, it's definitely Harry anyway. Like, they have to create something. Maybe they could have made it more like if it was going to be Harry anyway, maybe it could be like, who is it going to be, rather than like, it's definitely Jackson and he turned it around. I don't think we can say we know for sure. I mean, I think the first thing is like, Harry gets to this point of desperation because of the position that he's in. And it's like, well, like before we get to holding Flint's hostage, which we will talk about, it's like, how do you get to the point where you are holding a Flint hostage? And I think, Harry comes into the game as an outlier, as a returnee, as a huge threat. And where was his space? If the Lottie group is kind of coming for him at all times, and the bottom group aren't really working with him, being like Lyndall's faction as I've seen it. And maybe that's Harry's fault for being kind of vocal about targeting Lyndall, or maybe it's that they're unworkable. Because we see even here, and we'll talk about it, Lyndall's not picking up what he's putting down. Is that because of the last week, or has it always been that way? I feel like he maybe got squeezed out from a relationship standpoint. At that point, I would say the biggest grievance I have is maybe being a little bit too vocal within that position of not power, of lacking power. And then I would say like the biggest kind of like active mistake, and like we could see it the whole time, is I think he was misreading Jackson. I think he wanted to put faith into Jackson, but he misread him with the decoy vote. And I don't think Jackson ever came back from that. I think he's still trying to get revenge for Eliza. And he puts all his faith into him here, again, in that position of desperation. And Jackson completely hoses him, and he gives Jackson all the power to do that and like investing in this plan by giving him the Flint. And Jackson, I thought at the time, I'm like, Jackson can nigh him really badly right here. And what do they say? Like, you don't have to be the fastest person if you're getting chased by a leopard, but you just got to be like,
you just got to outrun the last person. Yeah,
exactly. And for Jackson, he has a way that he can definitely be safe. It's not even like he's definitely out next, because they'll swap at a point. He does have fodder, and what will be like Lyndall and Loz, who are not options right now. He's gained social capital rather than losing it, and all he had to lose was Harry. And I think he's fine to lose Harry. So it kind of was an obvious move for Jackson to flame him. But you can kind of see how the dominoes started falling from probably a pretty weak position to begin with, and then it never got better from there.
I'm so annoyed. I have so many thoughts because I want to talk about, obviously, the idea that Harry was already kind of just drawing dead and was in a spot where he just wasn't going to make it. But I also have to talk about the show, right? And what the show gave us. And the show gave us Harry needed to outrun the leopard. And instead of outrunning the leopard, he decided, okay, me and Jackson we're gonna trick the leopard, and we're gonna get the leopard on the third option. When it's like, no, trip Jackson.
And then Jackson.
Yeah. Right, trip Jackson. Yeah, you're so busy trying to protect Jackson, or I don't want to do that. This is I don't want to be at the bottom. I don't want to get dragged along by goats. And I'm just talking about Harry's exact words, right? But that's not how. I hate to say this about Harry, because he of course knows how survivors play, but that's not Survivor conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom is when you're at the bottom, it's anybody but me sometimes, especially when there's a tribe swap coming up. If you get past Jackson this time and y'all win the next challenge, there's a chance that you just get to the tribe swap and you're out of here. It's just you don't know. And so, I was I recently watched Survivor Marquesas again because, you know, people don't give my girl Vecepia the things that she deserves. But Vecepia is the prime example. Literally, I think example number one of this exact thing is, okay, me, Boston Rob, and Sean, we're at the bottom of this pecking order. Boston Rob's going out. Sean's going to vote with Boston Rob like a dummy. I'm going to vote against Boston Rob and work my way into the group. And then she does. And then they merge. And then she has a new life in the game. You know, we've been talking about this since the 4th season of US Survivor. So it's really hard for me to watch this and not be like, Harry, what are you doing? But also, he's my favorite, and he does this, and that's why I like him, because I know he has the capacity to decide to hold the tribe hostage. Now, as far as dominoes go, I want to blame somebody else because I don't like to blame Harry for stuff. So here is the person I'm blaming for this. I'm blaming Simon.
I was actually about to credit Simon.
I'm blaming Simon because in my mind, when the Paula vote happens, they come to Simon. They say, Simon, Paula said your name, and he's about to blindside Harry. He didn't give Harry the heads up. He didn't say, Harry, what's up? Your number one is coming for me. I needed to get more of that, and I didn't see them work together as allies at all. Like at all, even to the point where it looked like what was the point of the rice conversation? Is the rice?
I know
good?
the rice never went anywhere.
We didn't see that. It never went anywhere. And when it felt like, even in this episode, when Harry is saying, "Oh, you know, I don't want to go out like this," where was the conversation where Simon comes to Harry and says, Harry, you're good. Don't worry about it. Don't hold the tribe hostage. You're fine. I just wanted them to work together better, and it felt like they weren't.
Well, you need to take off your Harry goggles, because what did you just say? What did Vecepia do? That's what Simon just did. I was coming in here to credit Simon, who I criticized yesterday for being like, I was like, you have to stick with Harry. How could you not tell Harry that's your number one? That's your stability. Where do you sit in this group? And you know what? You know where he sits? He's not a target. He's definitely swapping. He's long for the game. And Harry was a sinking ship. He untied himself from that anchor. Isn't that what you just said to do? And Simon did that.
I get that. I'm not so mad at him about not, kind of voting with the majority here. But I just felt like you said, this is supposed to, in my mind, okay, boom, this is the way I envision this. They're a secret pregame alliance. They separate from each other on the beach. And whenever it gets hot, you're supposed to run that information back to the other side. I didn't see enough running the information back and forth. I did see that one scene in the last episode where Simon does come to Harry. He said, hey, is everything good? And Harry's like, yeah, but Simon didn't like the read he got off of Harry did. And then from there, it seems like he was done. He's hey, let's cut ties. Paula, we're about to blindside you with this. And maybe they did, right? Maybe there were a ton of conversations and it just didn't pan out, but I didn't see enough. I felt like if you have a secret number one ally, these are the types of things you should be telling them you're about to do. So like maybe Harry sees the writing on the wall because Simon's not getting him anything. He says, okay, I need to hold these things hostage. I don't know. But to me, I have to blame somebody else because I am extremely biased and I have a list of other people to blame as well.
Well, I don't think it can be Simon, because we do see Simon is like subtly trying to get the vote of Harry at the very least. I love the emotion that he felt in voting out Harry, but I think it's like, look, they're pre-game or minute one allies. We don't know what kind of relationship that's going to be. You can say that, and this is why pre-game alliances don't always work out, because you say that, but it's like, wait, did I sign up to be your ally till death do us part? Through sickness and in health. Like at the point where Harry is free falling, I'm like, I'm opting out, and I think that Simon prioritized himself, and I think that it's going to get him through a swap, and he's going to find other options. So I thought I wanted, and that's for me because I yesterday as well had the same reaction where I was like, Simon, what's happening? But now I feel like I've sat with it enough to be like, you're right, he did what Vecepia did, or what we see, other winners who. Well, it's not really the same thing, but other winners who come from losing their alliance, like Danny Boatwright, like you have to, and they allies get voted out. We see like Chris Doherty, he votes out allies when he has to be able to have life in the game further on. Like what would happen if Simon just tied himself to the boulder, drowning? That is Harry at this point. And I did the same thing yesterday where I said, like, where do you sit, Simon? And to be fair, I don't really know the dynamics well enough to know, like, where do you sit without Harry? His name's not being brought up. He sits above seemingly Lyndall, Loz, Jackson. He's getting to a swap. It's enough. I don't know if he's in the power position. It doesn't seem like he is. But he's done more than enough. And I actually have to credit that and discredit myself from yesterday in a podcast no one has yet seen. But should I go back and edit that
based on what you saw, based on what you saw with Paula, I'm with you on that one. I really felt like if Simon, you felt like Paula was bringing you up, you and Harry at that point, that's the point of having the secret ally. Y'all are supposed to talk about these things. Harry, it looks like your number one is coming for me. What's up? We good? You know, that's what it is. And then Harry says, she's not coming for you. You compare notes, and then you realize that the bad guy is Lottie. But here, we don't really do that. And so I think your last episode instinct is fine because that's what you knew. But I think it's okay to also be like, all right, once Harry has decided he's going to sink his ship in this episode, Simon's hands off. You know, hey, you can go. What can I do? I feel like they were doing a really good job of downplaying their closeness because when Simon goes, he's crying, and Aisha says, "Is that real?" You know, she's like,
I think maybe it's like I don't know. I think maybe she's not expecting Simon's raw emotions. But that's who Simon is, which I love so much. But maybe it is that they didn't see the relationship, and no one would expect them to have necessarily a relationship. Yeah. But they're fraternities.
That's what I'm saying. You were keeping it on the down low. It was good. Everything was solid. And now here you are going out right here. So can I blame somebody else? Let me blame Jackson. Jackson. I don't really have a real strong argument for blaming Jackson, but God damn it, Harry gave you a fun thing to do, and you took all the fun out of it. All right, y'all. I'm gonna give y'all back the Flint, so y'all can just choose to vote me out. What if they had chose to vote him out? What if they had chosen to vote him out?
They were never going to do that.
Flint. But what if they did? What if they did? But they said they were. They told us. We saw the numbers. No. They told us that they were. What does they say?
And then he did something social while Harry took the tribe hostage.
It's so bad. Okay. You know whose fault this is? This is Lyndall's fault.
Mine.
Because how did Lyndall?
That one I'm on board.
Honestly, this is Rich's fault. Can we talk? What did Rich do to Harry? It seems like every single episode, Harry's like, or Rich. Yeah, maybe Rich. I think I might be able to get rid of Laws or Lyndall, but at the least I can get Rich. Even this last moment, this last gesture. Okay, pick me or the Flint, or you can just vote out Rich. Rich.
Okay, all right. In your like circle of blame, Simon. No, Simon, and not even just because of the hostage situation. Like Simon, Harry was clearly free falling from God knows when. We've seen it. It's been like a domino effect. It's not been a good trajectory. At any point that he got off that, credit. Jackson did exactly what he needed to do. He made a social move and he saved himself 100% rather than like maybe they'll make the choice not to vote for one of us and then I could be 50-50 out the door, seemingly more out the door. As far as we knew. So he took his agency into his own hands, actually to the point where when Harry originally came up with the Flint idea, I thought he was doing it to hang Jackson out to dry. And then when he was like, Jackson, tell what happened, I thought he was trying to be like, look what Jackson did. I actually thought
Jackson did this.
Yeah, but then Jackson did it back to him. And Jackson from the beginning is like, Harry came to him with this idea and then turns it around perfectly. Rich, I'll give credit to as well. We can't blame Rich. I mean, I don't know what makes Rich so much a non-target, despite the fact that he has seemingly never had many connections here. But you got to credit the fact that they aren't targeting Rich and don't bring up his name ever. I will come back to Lyndall, though, because it is impossible. Yes. It is impossible that 3 episodes in a row, I have watched someone come up to Lyndall who has no idea of her position, whose read on this whole thing is so wrong, and then say, Lyndall, this is true information I've been given to help you. And Lyndall, I want to say this is a message to all messengers. Don't come near Lyndall. She will shoot you dead. I have never seen someone not even bite the hand that feeds her. She's biting the whole arm. First, Eliza, hey, you're on the bottom. And she confirmed with me she knew that was true. Lyndall's like, how dare you? You've stressed me out. What do you mean? That's like coming to someone when their house is your house is on fire. It's like, I really just don't need this energy right now. It's like, call the fire department. That's not how this is going to work. Like, we have to help. So then that was the first one. Then Lottie comes to her. Hey, I'm saving you. Paul is coming for you. Accurate information. She's like, whoa, I don't want to be a decoy. No, actually, I'm saving you outright because you were the target. And then today, Harry came to Lyndall, was like, you've been on the bottom. Should we do something? So then she goes and throws Harry under the bus. She's like, that wasn't true, was it? He really stressed me out. It's like, Lyndall, you think maybe it was true? They just sent your ally to the other tribe. They just took away your protection. Whether they should have, we'll talk about. But like, do you think maybe 3 episodes in a row? I'm willing to somewhat blame Lyndall. And mostly Harry. And circumstance. But Lyndall,
I really can't figure out a way to not blame Harry. But because even now I want to blame Lyndall, but I can't come with you on this journey with Lyndall. No,
you have to.
Not
you
this
have
one.
to.
Not this one. Because hear me out.
Yes.
Harry comes to her and says, "Your house is on fire," and he's holding the matches.
No, he's not. He's not.
Harry's target was Lyndall and Laz from the beginning. He's been targeting Lyndall since episode 1.
That is true, but he's now desperate. And to be fair, people lie all the time. But there's other verifiable information, like Loz has just gone to the other tribe. And I think Asha painted a good job of like, I'm saving you, Loz. Clearly a number was being taken away from Lyndall, which actually makes me think it might have been Lyndall. It was probably going to be Lyndall if she didn't win immunity. And this is something, again, it's probably Schrodinger's bottom vote where all of these names are in contention. But Lyndall was clearly out there. And while Harry has some matches, he has no power. Lottie and Asha have been talking about actually taking out Lyndall. And I can see maybe how like she doesn't. If this was the one where it would be like, okay, Harry's put my name out there and he's desperate. Of course he's going to say that. I would be like, okay, he actually was being honest, but I see how you think that. But 3 episodes in a row, it is a pattern and it's on her. Like at that point, she's the common denominator. And I can't do it next week too. I can't do it. I won't be here. And good, because I can't have another person go to Lyndall and say, Lyndall, I'm trying to genuinely help you. And for her to be like, I have business hours between 2 and 3:30 p.m. And that's when you can come to me with an otherwise. Lyndall, please. It's driving me crazy.
I give her a pass for the Harry one. I do. I have to because he is
not on the third time.
Yeah, here's why.
3 strikes.
Because when Harry's trying to outrun the Jaguar, he keeps saying, "What about Lyndall? What about Rich? And what about Loz?" Those are the 3.
Look,
even when he's making his pitch, he goes, "What do you really want to go to the swap with somebody like Lyndall or Loz? You're going to sit around not doing anything, or what do you want to take of me? I'm Dirty Harry." He's like, she's just like his throwaway name. Anytime he needs a random name, just Lyndall's right there. Why not Lyndall? I think.
Well, to be fair. Well, when people have been saying her name when he's been saying her name and people have taken that to her, she hasn't believed it anyway. So at this point, it's caught up. I mean, look, I do think the inconsistency we can blame Harry for. I think that is a thing. And I think Jackson spoke very well to it. It's like, look at me. I show up for my allies. And Jackson's like, but you haven't shown up for me. Like, I kind of think Jackson, I really enjoy Jackson's character and like the way, like, again, like the emotions he showed and like the way he's personally connecting to it. I don't know the strategy versus like personal breakdown he would have. If Harry's super loyal to him, maybe Jackson does good about him. Again, I don't know him well enough as a player yet. But Jackson speaks well to the fact that that's not what Harry's been doing. He's been super inconsistent. It has been like Lyndall, but now I need her. And I think it probably is from desperation. It has been like trying to manipulate Jackson, but now it's like, no, I ride for Jackson. I'll give everything up for Jackson. When, you haven't been doing that. It is like going after Rich and being like, I specifically want us to connect now. And then immediately having a plan that tries to take out Rich. And I do think that the desperation, the smell of desperation must have been pretty clear out there. And I think Jackson spoke to that very well. Now, to talk about the history of like things like a Flint hostage situation, we see a lot of this on Survivor South Africa. More than I think in any other franchise. I don't think it's happened in Australian Survivor. I can't think of a great US Survivor example, but in Survivor South Africa, Champion season 5, there was a man named Zan. Unfortunately, he's primarily known for a racist incident, but secondarily known for this Flint hostage situation, which we often at this point I need to bring up. So he did that. We also had when Warda tried to take the rice hostage, but they had switched out the rice. So there is some precedent for that. Look, using the Flint to torture your own game. And that's the thing with Jackson. It's like, do you want to ride with me to blow everything up to the point where do we go from here? And we might still get voted out? Or do you want to do something actually nice and social and definitely not get voted out? Because at that point, Harry, you've torched Harry with the Flint. You've absolutely torched him. And then possibly even have some future relationships, and all you've lost is Harry, who, again, I think Harry underestimated how bad Jackson felt about how all of that had happened from the decoy vote. So it kind of was no-brainer for Jackson, but I still respect the way he did it and that he did it, to the point where I thought that's what Harry was trying to do, was trying to be the nice social guy as Jackson takes the tribe hostage. Oh my God, what do you do? I kind of thought it would be that, which it wasn't. And it wasn't going to be able to be because he could say Harry said that. But I did kind of think he was trying to get Jackson to walk into a trap, and that was not the case.
If he wanted to do that, he shouldn't have given Jackson the flint. He should have said,
the flint. That's the thing.
No. He keeps the flint. He says, Jackson's trying to keep you a hostage. And Jackson says, no, I'm not. Harry has the flint. He said, no, I don't. You have the flint. Just at that point, you parent trap.
Well, that sounds desperate.
I mean, what? Yeah. How is this not desperate? You gave this
all
man
of it's desperate. Yeah. I mean, look,
he gave his life in the game and said, "Please don't backstab me because I'm doing this for us." When we were shown that had you not done this, you would have been fine. The last words we get from Aisha is, "That's it. That's it. It's over. It's Jackson. He's going home." Then we see her go to Simon. We see her really work the room. He's going home. And then cut to Harry's big moment. Obviously, me and you both have question marks over whether or not it really happened like this. But based on what we see, I was just like, Harry, at least keep the flint. So you could just you hold them hostage at the very least. Vote me out. I'm taking the flint with me. I don't care if you vote for Jackson or Rich, honestly. But if you vote me out, I'm taking the flint with me. I think that's a sexier move.
Well, the thing is, he's like actively trying to do this like rock, paper, scissors thing with Jackson, in which case you can't get Jackson Ward to be like, you actually have no protection. Because then at any point, Harry can say like, I actually have the flint, so you can't vote me out. Definitely vote for Jackson. And maybe that would have been the better move. Maybe it would have been better to do it alone and just leave Jackson out of it completely. I mean, I think at the point where he's trying to protect Jackson, like you don't have nearly enough capital to try and protect you and Jackson. I think that if you're going to do this at all, I think it's, I have the flint, I'm taking it with me. There's no 50-50. It's 100%.
Yeah.
You want flint? You can vote for Jackson. You can vote for Rich. Probably it's going to be Jackson. Bye, Jackson. Like, I think I would probably do that. But because he's trying to do it with Jackson, you're only going to get Jackson on board if he feels he has some protection, which is the flint, which gives him the capacity to nigh you, which I think he's underestimating that Jackson might do because he's misreading, A, possibly who Jackson is, and B, what their relationship has been. So I think that's what's tough. But yeah, if you wanted to sell Jackson out, then I wouldn't give him the flint because that's giving him the power. And if you wanted to stay, I wouldn't be selling Jackson out at all. I wouldn't be bringing Jackson in. I'd be saying, actually, you know how I had a pitch earlier? Screw that pitch. I have the flint.
Yeah.
Do you want to make that choice? And I actually don't know how Australian Survivor would deal with that. Obviously, US Survivor has like a different kind of flint relationship. They would be swapping soon, like about to like screw over a swap tribe. They might have to win it back. They might have to trade something for it. They probably do it anyway because that's just, you're just angry, at that point. But I do think, and you're like, you don't get to tell me that. We'll work it out. But I think that if he was going to do the flint, I would have done it alone. Trying to do the flint and also save Jackson was like 1,000 levels higher than what he could achieve. Like that was almost the craziest part.
And I think that's why it's a Dirty Harry move, right? I think the level one is, go in there and use your social game, try to get in there. That's normal. Then you have I can hold this hostage, vote me out, and I'm taking the flint with me. It's a little tacky, but fine, whatever, we'll do it. But then you go to the Dirty Harry level, which is that third stage, the outer ring of hell, where you say, no, if you want to take it there, I'm going to take it lower. And I'm going to save me and him. And y'all are going to vote out Rich. Finally, you're going to get Rich. It's like,
I'm going to show you. Like leaving, like this. I'm going to teach you how leaving you to die possibly is actually a really loyal move. Like there's nothing for you to prove. At the point where you're taking the tribe, as he even says in his final words, like at the point where you're taking the tribe hostage, just own it. Just own it. Leave Jackson behind. And that's how you outrun the guy to get eaten by the leopard. But it's Jackson with that because he just had to give him, like way, way too much power. And it was, I think, on a misread of who Jackson is. I'm trying to think about what it would look like for Harry to screw over Jackson. So what he keeps the flint, he makes Jackson give the plan, and then he's like, Jackson, I would never do this. You're doing this. But so he does the exact same thing Jackson did. The issue is no one would believe that because everyone knows Harry and seemingly knows Jackson. Like, who do you think came up with the hostage idea? Do you think it was Jackson, or do you think it was Harry? His name is Dirty Harry. Like, unfortunately, you've come in with that president. With Jackson, it was true and it was believable. With Harry, that's not believable at all. You can't be like, no, Jackson actually tried to get me, but don't worry, I have the flint. I'm giving it to you. They'd be like, Harry,
save me.
You're going home. Yeah. Like, there's no
the idea here is that you're right. This was a bridge too far. What it should be is, I have the flint, and I will leave you starving if you vote me out. I trust y'all, but just a little insurance here. Be okay with being with starving, okay? And if they don't like it, fine. You obviously didn't trust that they were going to keep you anyway, so it's not like you had any other options. It's basically having an immunity idol, a fake immunity idol at that point. Like, I'm holding it up in the air. You can risk it. Y'all know it's probably fake. It's probably annoying that you'll be without Flint, but you can get it back. At that point, no one's gonna, if they think you're a real detriment to their game, they don't give a damn about the Flint. I wouldn't care about the Flint. You're going home regardless. If I've already decided you're going home, there's nothing, unless you were holding my coffee mug with my face on it. There's really not a lot of things you could be telling me you're holding hostage with where I wouldn't still vote you out. Take it. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it's hard as well, because it's like, he's like, I don't want to be, begging for my life and be dragged to the end as a goat. But it's like, yeah, I mean, this will make you a goat. Like, the other tribe might not see it, but they'll hear about it. Like, I don't think Australian Survivor, especially, maybe the new era could be like, that's innovative. We're going to talk about this on a podcast, maybe. And they're being starved. Even then, Australian Survivor has definitely enough people who are like, I mean, honor and integrity, and also in this way, they might not even be that wrong. It's like, you left the people to starve, and it's like a kind of gray area possibly in the rules in terms of stealing stuff. So it's probably pretty gray, honestly. So
I don't think so.
This I think makes it unwinnable a little bit.
I don't think so. Let's say you get swapped right now. Like, next episode, you survive. Jackson went home. The Flint thing worked. Everybody hates you. And then the next is a non-elim, and you get swapped, and you go over there. And now there's Brooke, and there's Mark, and you're over there, and it's maybe you, and
he probably still beats like Dawn in a final too. You never know in a final.
You know what I'm saying? And then we got a long time. At that point, y'all can run the game. It's a long game, Shannon. It's a long game. AJ held the tribe hostage last year. And
that's true. We did come back from that. It's true.
AJ was not a goat.
Are we supposed to rule out every person who holds someone hostage? Like, this is Australian Survivor.
I'm just saying it's not a death sentence. All I'm saying, hold them hostage a little bit.
The odds of Harry sitting next to someone who's also subsequently held supplies or a person hostage is like not zero. This is Australian Survivor. So like, if you can find that person. Yeah. Yeah, it was an unfortunate situation. I mean, what did you think about the Jackson versus Harry debate that the power group were having in terms of like how they should have voted from a non-biased perspective?
I thought Harry made a good pitch. I think that this is what you want to say is, I know I'm a dangerous player, but Harry has gone into enemy territory before playing Survivor, going in and navigating Survivor, with the godmother, kind of nipping at him, him and her going back and forth. He is somebody who, is competitive in the game. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to navigate the game. And y'all are about to get swapped soon. It would be nice to have somebody like that who you could play with. Maybe if you made it to the merge, you still got Brooke, you still got Mark, you still got Simon, these people who are experienced. It'd be nice to have one in your corner. It does look like they kind of have Simon. But having Harry in place of somebody who's a little less strategic or knowledgeable about the game, I don't think it necessarily should be a bad thing. Like, I think I would want to work with. I mean, I'm biased because I won't want to work with Harry.
You're
but
very
at the
biased.
same time,
You're super biased.
Yeah, I get that. Listen, I've never not been for not here, single issue voter. But I think that the fun is playing with people who can play the game. So you have to talk. You have somebody to talk it out with. Shannon, I couldn't even imagine being in a situation. First of all, I would never want to play one of these games. But if I had to, I would be. It's like me and you. I want to talk to you about the stuff. I don't want to go and sit and say, oh, so we're all loyal, right? All honor and integrity. We're just gonna sit here. Okay, cool. See y'all in a little bit. No, talk to me. Let's talk it out. Let's do some. Let's do some. We don't have to do the moves, but I really want to be able to bounce the ideas off of you, So I felt like he was really showing himself to be an ally or an asset that they could use in the future. I I don't know. I think he went to the right person to do it. He went to the head of the snake. He went to Lottie.
Yeah.
Please, Lottie, throw yourself at her mercy. Hey, just take me. And Lottie seemed like she was picking up what he was putting down. She said, he's a scary player, but me and him, he's thinking along the same lines as I am. We're going to have to go up against this other tribe at some point. And I don't want to look around and my only allies are Lars and Lando and Rich, all the
Man, they were harsh on Lars and Lindell.
And Rich.
After saying like the edit is kind of protecting Lindell, they were like, she does nothing. I was like, all right, we're kind of fully into that territory. I mean, I don't firstly know how much they know about Harry's game. I mean, look, Caleb is the one who said he doesn't know who Matt Rogers is, which we can talk about. They said they're like, Harry always makes it to the end and his alliance is never there. I'm like, untrue and unfair. Firstly, he made it to the end one time. He made it to just after the merge the second time. And the second time his entire alliance was taken out mostly after him by another group. He did nothing wrong. And the first time, they didn't cut him. I mean, it was I was like, this is defamatory and untrue, but maybe that speaks to more of the fandom. I mean, I think they should have cut Harry. I thought they should have cut Harry over Paula. So for me, over Jackson, like, yeah, okay, fine. You want a workable ally. They seem to have each other. Like Lottie and Asha and Cameron seem to have done pretty well with each other. And if it's about Harry versus Jackson, and we're just looking at that, I don't know that there's been enough there. I mean, there's definitely not been enough there for Cameron and Asha, who really, especially Cameron, really want to stick on Harry. And like, even though he's not a workable ally, he's a strategic opponent, which is worse. And for Lottie, he's mostly a strategic opponent. I mean, they seem to have a kind of interesting, complex relationship, kind of like a bit of respect, like a godmother cockroach thing, sure. But I don't think there's enough there to be like, he'll be my partner, my like strategic partner through this. And there's not enough trust there, I don't think, even for her, and especially not for her allies. So that's kind of what makes me think maybe it wasn't going to be Jackson until Harry blew it up, because it shouldn't, I don't think, be Jackson. I think it should be Harry, but I thought it should be Harry yesterday and it was still Paula. But yeah, I mean, I agree. And I actually thought there was a lot of good stuff from Cameron, kind of like pushing and really like sticking on Harry. I also thought Cameron was hilarious at Tribal Council with some of the asides when he responded with Jackson. He was like, this is so cold when Jackson did that. And he was responding to Caleb being like, lucky we can't vote you out. There was a lot of good stuff there, even if it was more in the background from what like Lottie and Asha were doing. But I think, unfortunately, Dirty Harry, the cockroach, is the right target, I think. I think the odds that he doesn't go and also work with people he actively knows, has worked with in Brooke. You don't think he's prioritizing someone like Brooke over you immediately, but you know he has the skills, but the skills won't be benefiting you. So for me, it's Harry through and through, unfortunately.
If they wanted to work with him, they should have been scooped him up. And they clearly did not. It wouldn't have taken, 3 boots basically to get to him and say, oh, I think we might be able to work. These conversations would have been happening. You don't want to work with him. It's very clear. Y'all have been eyeing each other the whole time. I don't disagree with their move. I just thought Harry made a good pitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's all he can pretty much say.
Then hold the tribe hostage.
Skillful player, and then you can hold. Of course, at a point, we're all going to be holding the tribe hostage. This is Australian Survivor. So I want to talk about this twist, because yesterday I said this is an advantage. Well,
this is not a twist.
Well, the advantage. The twist was the immunity challenge, and I will say when it fell down to be the challenge, I clapped like it was a magic trick. I was like, okay, like that was cool. Like honestly,
I fell to my knees.
It was so cool. The production on these challenges is so good. Their resources are so much more limited than the US. I'm not saying that it's necessarily better than the US, but man, like maybe it is. It looks great. And this was like, wow. Like even the players were like, okay, I don't want to do it, but okay. Yeah.
No, I fell to my knees. I was so happy. I said, yes, he's done this before. He's done it. This is his challenge. And then I thought, oh, wait. Every single person on this tribe is an endurance athlete. And there, you look back and there's just Lindell just hanging out. I said, God damn it, Lindell. Like, Lindell. Oh, what are you doing?
God damn it, Lindell. There were so many things. It's like Bounty keeps losing. And that's unfortunate. Like he made it through it quite a bit. And then like there's a challenge, he comes second. And Lindell wins. Like I really think it's gonna be Lindell. If Lindell, it's like not even that he lost, it's just that Lindell won, because at the point where they're sending away Loz, and which I don't think was a good move, by the way, but like at the point where they're sending away Loz, it kind of feels like they're freeing up Lindell. I don't think that anyone should have used this advantage. I think that the juice was not worth the squeeze from this advantage. I said yesterday, this is not something you should not use, because if it's going to be like Harry should have used. If Harry had it, he can safety without power himself out of tribal council, of course. If you're really that desperate,
could he pick himself?
Yeah. You can pick yourself. So using it as a simple safety without power, if you're desperate, fine. Asha was in too much control to do that. Obviously, she'd just be giving up her vote when she's very protected anyway. So that becomes a miss. Then it's like, well, you can send yourself to the other tribe. I mean, what did Caleb gain from this in terms of just being chosen? If you were to say choose yourself and have the agency over that, Caleb comes in and they're all just doing things because they think they should have to from a production standpoint. Like Asha thinks she should have to use the advantage. Caleb thinks he has to kind of be loud and vocal. It's going to go on his resume if he takes out a returnee. Like, firstly, this is not your move. Secondly, Final Tribal Council is in like 2 months, Caleb. Like, it's not about that. If anything, you just made vocal enemies right before a swap. You voted with the majority, but that was a lot quieter than, I don't know, yelling at Simon that you don't want returnees. Like,
did he vote
what if you swap with Simon? So
did he even vote with the majority, Shannon? Because I thought
Lottie said to him vote for Jackson.
Yeah.
She said,
So I think ideally, if you're in Caleb's position or Law's position, you go over to the next tribe and you make friends. You're supposed to. They're supposed to take you in. You're supposed to have. Hey, if we meet up at the merge, here's what I'm thinking. If we get swapped together, here are the people. If you can target somebody on our side, here's who's in charge. You didn't hear this from me. You know, gotta give them the information. Law throws Harry completely under the bus. I was like, God damn it, Laws! I'm like every episode, just like,
even that was so annoying though. But even that was so annoying because Loz and Lyndall again are like, who should you go for? It's like Harry, the person desperately clinging so hard that he has to take the tribe hostage. Loz and Lyndall, you were on the bottom. Say Lottie. I don't like this is again. Like I think that it's either, well, it's the misread of positioning, and then it's the lack of power, and it's both things. So it's like go in and just like do the easiest thing for the guy who's like fighting for his life with absolutely nothing. And like I guess she doesn't want to tell a stranger, even if she had the right read of the situation, you wouldn't necessarily want to tell a stranger like, oh, here's the actual, and like an opponent, here's the actual power group. Here's how you should take a shot. And I get that, but I also don't think that I can say that that's why she made that move. Like, I think she thinks she's in with the power people, and she is not. So that, again, from the Loz and Lyndall perspective is kind of, I just want to know that the read is okay. The moves are fine if they know where they sit and are making decisions based on that to just get to a swap. But I can't say that I think that that's what has been the case.
The move is definitely correct, right? You know, again, we're outrunning this jaguar. You know, we're outrunning this leopard.
They don't know that. They don't know they're running.
But at least they have the sense to trip Harry regardless. You know, they might think they're in the front, but they still tripped Harry on the way out. Because if you tell oh my God, Caleb, if you tell Caleb, anything. There's a non-zero chance that he's going to go over and shout it to the rooftops. You know, he's a little bit of
100%. I think based on
he's a little bit of a loose cannon. If you let him start talking, his laugh is incredible though. His laugh is incredible. But had she said, I think Harry's at the bottom, but you know, we really need to switch things up. You know, Lottie's in charge. I don't know, you know, or something. If you were able to, if you have a workable conversation and maybe Caleb was able to go and do something about it. Like if Caleb goes directly to Harry and says, hey, I was told that Lottie's in charge and you need to get off the bottom and I want to work with you. Then this is perfect, right? If let's say it's me, send me. Hey, Harry, they gave me a vote, but I'm not voting you out. So what's the plan? You got at least one vote of me. If you can go get 3 other people, maybe I can work with them, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think that's the ideal situation from this twist. And instead, you just kick the guy who's already on the ground and just step on him, and then everybody else can step on him, and then brag about stepping on him at Tribal Council in front of everybody.
But they don't give a lot of space because they just have him come to Tribal Council. I thought he would be there all day. So how much is he going to affect things?
Laws was kicking it.
He tried.
And Laws was just at the other camp hanging out. So I don't know why he didn't get the chance to hang out. You know,
I mean, that's what I thought was happening. This is why I'm saying that, like, I do feel vindicated on the advantage because even Asha was like, I shouldn't have done that. And for the reasons, what are the reasons you shouldn't use this advantage? One of the things we said was, what if it's a twist? we thought, what if it's a non-elim? What if you've done that? You've sent yourself over to another tribe, as an example, voted for no reason, and it was a non-elim, and you've just, again, had a negative interaction where you voted for someone who's not even there. Or what if it's not a twist and you vote them out, they don't go home? Or like what I think Caleb just did, even though Harry did go home, I think that it was kind of an unforced error to kind of make bad social relationships and to really be very loud about what you want to do right before a swap. I'd rather get to know who I'm at a swap with before I start cutting out my options. And that was honestly Caleb's choice. But here we see with Asha, she finds out, expect the unexpected in Australian Survivor. She sends out Loz, I think, to try take out Lyndall. Now, even if there was no immunity challenge, I wouldn't be on board with this for the reason of like, what is Loz doing? Like, what is that number really doing? It felt like doing it to do it. Actually, it should have tipped Lyndall off to her position, and we know she has an idol. Actually, you took out your split option, and then eventually a possible other contender once she couldn't have known this, but once Lyndall wins immunity. I felt like it took out someone who wasn't so threatening to you, but who actually could be options in different ways, mostly as a split target. Then the immunity challenge happens. Now, this is kind of unfair as paired with the advantage because of the order of operations. Like, Asha can't possibly know that, but I still think you got to blame Asha a little bit because she should know with Australian Survivor, you don't always know what's going to happen. They do love their last minute immunity challenges. You wouldn't expect it, but the whole point is you don't know what to expect in these situations. And something like this could very well happen. And there's enough precedent through Australian Survivor to know weird stuff happens all the time, basically. So like, it kind of just feels uncontrollable. So I always felt like, don't use this at all. And I don't think they had enough power. It was fine. They took out Harry. They had a lot of people on the bottom, but I don't think it made the situation better. And even without an immunity challenge, I don't think it helps them. So I just think it's the kind of thing you do because you think production wants you to. And for me, I would caution every person. Like, I'm the worst person. Like, the production would be like, please shut up. Because I'm always like, just do nothing. Or like with Caleb, it's like, just do nothing. Just be congenial. Just be like a friendly face for them. Or like, for every advantage you get, really think, do I need to use this? Be like Harry was in All-Stars, even though that didn't go so well. But like, just because you have it doesn't mean you should use it. That is my advice on advantages in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real downside to Asha doing this, though, right? There's nothing comes from it.
I think they have enough power to cover for it, but she lost more than she gained. Like, what did she gain?
What did she lose?
Harry? In a world where Lyndall doesn't win immunity, she lost a split vote target, and she should have tipped off Lyndall. Yeah, sure, but like again, they have so much power that they can do whatever they want. But like, it's much of it. It's marginal. It's much of a muchness because she has so much power. Yeah. But like, I don't think she gained anything, and I don't think that it. I mean, like, you get something like Loz is at least predictable to them. Probably they know her more than they know someone like Caleb, who seems like not only do they not know him, but he's like wildly unpredictable. It's not like a massive misstep. I'm just like, what for? Do you know what I mean? I think you're just doing it to do it. I don't see them gaining at all. The losses are minor when you have that much control. You can do anything.
Can I put on my conspiracy hat?
Is this not it? The hat you're wearing? Do you have a different one?
Okay. What if production came up with this second immunity challenge to save Harry? What if it was like, okay, Asha, you really need to send somebody over there. Would it be cool if you sent Harry? She's like, no, I'm not doing that. And so, okay, damn. All right, next up, immunity. And it's an endurance challenge. Harry, what's up? Like,
no, that's not. Did you see that thing fall down? That takes time to prepare. I'm not saying
it wasn't prepared. I'm just saying, what if we knew we needed to prepare it, Shannon? We knew that, we might need to throw a little extra at my boy, kind of get. I'm just imagining me as a producer here, and I'm throwing a little extra in here. I'm hiding an idol right there at the foot of his little endurance.
Well, that didn't happen. Firstly, the conspiracy theory had it super random. My conspiracy is that productions like use the advantage, but that's not a conspiracy because you can see in the text of the advantage they're like, this is a massive advantage. You have they don't want her to, like, if she finds it and never uses it, then obviously it's never on TV. That's not good. They want this as like a big moment. Yeah.
Oh, you know what this could have been though? What if you had this paired with the idol swap? So now, I'm gonna send you over there with your idol, and you can go and do your swap, because the swap we saw Brooke and Lyndall do was very messy. But if the idol was in a different hands, then I think it is massive, right? You don't have to worry about this secret, moment at the 3 different challenges they had to link up at before they were able to successfully swap that out. This is, oh, I'm sending you over there and I have an idol. I need you to go take it to Brooke or whoever else on the other side, and they're going to give you one and you can bring it back to me. I'm going to send my ally. I think that paired with the other thing, it could be massive, but in a vacuum, I don't think it's massive at all. I think they're lying to us.
Well, if they had just done it at the swap, like the actual swap, then I think, and they have it good for, 3 episodes is so limited. If they have it good for the whole swap, you get it at the swap challenge. See, the thing is that they're trying to have like, what is the thing on Sunday night? Now I'm putting on my producer hat, but it's like the game starts, week 2, there's this. Week 3, there'll be a swap. I don't have a hat. Week 3, there'll be a swap. They don't want to like conflate 2 things, but it really should be at the swap because then there's a lot to gain. You could save an ally on the other side who, you could, and like, there's stuff here, but it's basically just safety without power that you can really help yourself. But you could affect the vote. If your alliance is down in the numbers on the other side, you could send yourself there. There's a lot to be done at a swap. There's just with randoms, I think very little to do. So it played out like fine. It was a tiny part of this episode, but I just didn't know. I didn't think that it was really worth it. But do you think that? Okay, if this challenge doesn't happen, if Lyndall's available, do you think Harry survives?
No.
You think Harry is below Lyndall?
I think so. I think when they sent Laws away, that was them signaling that Harry was below Lyndall. The camera even cuts
that to me was
Harry.
Signaling that Lyndall was below Harry.
When they sent Laws away, that's why, because Harry's pitch is why not Lyndall or Laws, and the first thing they said, well, it can't be Laws because we just sent her away. It's like what? It's like they limited one of Harry's shields that easily.
That is true. No, that's how I looked at it. But then Asha seemed like genuinely regretful. She was like, I shouldn't have done that. I just thought Laws is an introvert. Like, I guess she didn't think that she'd go in there like Caleb, just like giving secrets. And she didn't, to their credit. Like, that was the correct thing there. I think because Asha seemed regretful, it was like, oh, we thought we'd have Lyndall. We just vote out Lyndall. Maybe we split on Harry, but we like vote out Lyndall. And then at the point where they couldn't do Lyndall, well, now they couldn't do Laws, but she couldn't see that. I really do. But to be honest, like, it is Schrodinger's bottom vote. As we see, these things are changing all the time. It's probably not binary. But I do think Lyndall kind of was. So a lot of things have to go wrong, even with how bad it was. Like, I do think like a lot of things did go pretty wrong here.
From a tribe strength point of view, I think that's also an argument in Harry's favor because these last few challenges have been push something that's really heavy. It's that same track that they've been using. The one they jump, push. They did the same thing this time, and it was even worse. And they were behind. And so I think after you lose a challenge like that, your first instinct is, well, we got to be strong because we can't out-muscle these guys as it is. Harry's one of our bigger guys, and he was a thrower in one of the challenges. He's been coming in clutch in the challenges, so his challenge performance alone should incentivize Australian Survivor players to want to keep him around. But at the point where Lyndall is immune, it automatically, there's nobody else that you can reason with honestly that's available that you could say, okay, they're a weaker and expendable. Because we know Cameron's with Lottie and Asha, and they're the power center. And then you have Rich on the outside of that. Apparently, we've never heard them say Rich's name. Only Harry keeps saying it. And so he's on out of some way. And Simon, you're not getting rid of Simon. You need the strength, or y'all are going to be back here tomorrow voting out the next person. And so, they're in a world where Lyndall doesn't get immunity. Harry has a little bit of wiggle room right here to where he can say, well, at least I can push this heavier thing than she can, and it did. Once she's immune, it was nothing. I was looking at all the cast. There's got to be somebody we can vote out here. There's got to be something. Rich,
and work with me on this.
Nothing.
A couple of things from the Baron tribe. Firstly, I'm obsessed with Don. Obsessed with the fact that he called himself Don Roberts and forgot, and now he's told the whole tribe, which, as predicted yesterday, no one would care about for the reasons of many of these people don't know who Matt Rogers is, and they've met Don, so they know that it doesn't like magically make him this like better Survivor player. He is Don Roberts or Don Rogers, who they know. So
the Don father.
What do you think about this?
Sally cared. Sally freaked out. Sally is me. Sally said,
she cared that it was Matt Rogers, but she didn't care that Don. It's like, whoa, we gotta get rid of you.
You're right. It didn't help. But his point wasn't even to save himself. He said, "I'm probably going to get voted out." He's so self-aware. Where did this come from? He goes, I'm probably going to get voted out. So I just want to tell y'all about my family before I go." That was his pitch. It wasn't, "Hey, I'm going to tell you this so you'll keep me around." Because, we speculate that thing doesn't really benefit you at all. Shannon, you don't know this, but that actually helped somebody in Big Brother one time. There was a guy named Frankie Grande. He's about to get voted out. The world is against him. I mean, they backdoored there. He's on the way out the door, and he tells this woman, Queen Victoria, he tells her, "My sister is Ariana Grande." She freaks out. The house flips.
Did he tell them his last name was Grande before that? Or did he lie about his last name?
He hadn't been saying
Grande actually, I think you might think about it.
Yeah,
not Rogers.
And she was new. She was new there too, but it did work. It got the momentum going to get him kept around. This is not Don trying to keep himself around. This is Don saying, "Y'all are probably gonna get rid of me, and I just feel like I need to say this to somebody."
He doesn't want Roberts anymore.
I want to live in my truth. Let me live in my truth, in my name. This Gary Hogaboom was Gary Hawkins all season. It tore him apart.
Yeah, and cut. I think it was great how he was like, well, when you go to the other tribe, Caleb, don't tell them. And Caleb was like, "I already forgotten about that."
He said, "Who?
That meant nothing to me." Yeah,
not a thing. Also, he just wants to keep it as a secret for him to tell everybody, because you just told your entire tribe. It's not. What's the point? Why not tell the rest of them? What are they gonna do? They're not even over here.
Yeah. This wasn't the moment he wanted it to be, but I love him with my whole heart. So it's just wonderful. I will say another thing that happens on this tribe. Yeah, please. The Don hat is incredible. Also, so Mark confronts Johnson about hearing his name, and he says that he overheard it. Now, poor Johnson has been confronted more in the last week of Survivor than I think some people get confronted in their entire seasons. This isn't something that happens often. I've just going to someone being like, "Hey, I heard you say my name." This doesn't happen that often. So I don't know what Mark is gaining from this. You have the information. Why tip off Johnson? What's he going to do with that? And I also think that Johnson, while being confronted multiple times, which is tricky, has never responded that well to it. Because what do you mean? You're like, "It's not me. It's actually Blanche," who he needed so desperately. Blanche gave him everything. Blanche gave him all the information. She's a critical ally to him in this slim numbers thing that's happening here. And he just immediately threw her under the bus. So I don't think that was good. How would you handle this? What do you think about this?
First off, I want to say I love Johnson so much because his reactions are so bad to these things, and he just keeps pushing. He just keeps going with his "I've created a narrative in my head. I'm gonna go with it. There's nothing you can do to stop me." When Mark is not agreeing that Johnson didn't throw his name out, Johnson said, "I'm moving past this." And Mark said, "Shouldn't I be the one to move past this?" He said, "It's like, I've forgiven myself. We should move on." I don't think you get to tell me that this is over. Johnson says, yeah, I do. Next subject, please. So love it so much. But yeah, he's clearly outmatched here. Mark has assembled an army, and we never hear anybody saying anything negative about Mark. I mean, to be fair, we really don't even see Johnson saying
Keely did.
Huh?
Keely did a bit.
A little bit. Yes. Keely's was kind of on to him, but for the most part, it seems pretty positive. He's got a huge alliance, it seems, or at least a couple of alliances that he's in. Obviously the Corn Chip Cartel, and then his Smart Ass Girls Alliance. So there's not a lot that Mark is really afraid of when it comes to Johnson, which is why I think he's still so emboldened to just call him out. No, I see what you're doing. It's not great gameplay, Shannon, but it's probably fun.
Everyone tears and all. It's just just speak with your votes. Again, production should hate me because I'm like, no, don't have conflict. It's great. I was watching Survivor Cagayan recently, as I mentioned on this podcast, and I'm like, God, they confront each other a lot. It's not good. Yeah. It's not good gameplay, but it's great TV. I'm probably team don't give them the upper hand by knowing you have that information. Just use that information to vote them out. And then for Johnson, honestly, it is tough to be caught out so often. To let the man live, but I don't know. I think I'd just be like, no, that's not true. You misheard. I mean, Mark's his enemy, right? So it's just about placating him and not really caring, compared to throwing Blanche under the bus so quickly. Did he throw out an ally who actually means something to him? And that I wouldn't be doing. So Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love to see Baron go to tribal council. I was really hoping that they would, because there's a lot there. We had this like really electric tribal council. We haven't seen how that fallout's going to continue. We just kind of have more bounty. It also didn't look good for Harry. So I don't know if we're going to get it before a swap, but I would really like to see these dynamics like put to the test again. Because there's some interesting stuff here, and I'm sure that they'll be really messy, and I'm sure I'll be like, just don't do any of that. If I were here on the podcast, which I won't be. So yeah, you guys will have to do it for me.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll handle it. Oh, I'm sure. Now that I'm in my villain origin story, the ghost of Harry is lingering in this podcast, and I have to avenge him by just, I don't know, hating on all these people's games until from now into the end of time. I gotta blame somebody. Somebody has to pay for this. Damn it.
Yeah.
Laws.
Well,
Lindell.
Yeah, it was laws as well. Exactly.
Rich.
Poor Rich. Poor Rich. He was the one.
He has done nothing.
Why am I in this? Like, we have the Flint. So vote for Rich. He'd be like, me, Rich,
me
on the side here.
And he's so Rich. He said, "You're a Survivor fan. I'm a Survivor fan." I said, "Oh, he's our people. Talk to Rich. Talk to Rich." And then he throws Rich on the bus and said, "Hey man, what's up?" Poor Rich. Yeah.
Poor Rich.
Going on. Poor Rich.
Poor Rich. Wait, what was me? Did you say my name? What? I want to talk about Harry's final words, because they were some of my favorite final words. But they also hit me on a really emotional day. Okay. Where I'd already cried many times and was already
What's so emotional about today? You don't have anything big going on in your life or anything like that.
Today's actually a pretty chill day for me. Yet tomorrow is not. Yesterday was, the premiere of Survivor 50, and like I had this great X interview. Yeah, that was the biggest day of my week. And then we had the X interview with Eliza, which was, if anyone has listened to that, she kind of speaks at the end about her own disappointment. She's a huge, huge fan. And I was like thinking about how much this show means to me. And then Harry went home and he also talked about, he's like, it's not about losing. It's about kind of leaving this phase of my life. And I'm not leaving this phase, but I kind of am, to be honest. Like, I'm transitioning. No, I'm going to podcast and I'm going to come. But what it is for me is like, for the last 10 plus years, the show, I've been allowed for the show to be like all consuming. And like, it's not going to be all consuming anymore. It can't be all consuming. And I think the last like 10 plus years of my life, like that phase of my whole adulthood is defined by very much this silly show. You can take from that what you will. And it was just a lot on that one day. Like I felt I totally got Harry's emotion in that, even though I wasn't getting voted out of Survivor. It's a very different thing. But it's like, it was true of Eliza. Like it's true of all of the legacy that they're showing on 50. It's like, it's this thing many of us, many fans, players, production, podcasters in different ways, we invest so much of ourselves into. And that sounds so absurd, but the people who get it. And then you find people, and I found people all over the world, present company included, all over the world, players, podcasters, fans, production, again, like in many different roles, who have given so much. And even when just not players, have suffered for it. Like, raise a hand if you've been personally victimized by this show. It's not just the players who, again, can have heartbreak from it. I think we've had heartbreak from it. Like, so many things. Even people who've tried to get on and almost got on and haven't got on. Is this the redemption thing again? Is this? But no, it really is. Like, it's not. This Survivor for many. And if you don't get it, you don't get it, and that's fine. But there are many people listening who get it. It is a passion, but it's more than a passion, because you find the people who, it's not just that they're passionate about it, it's that they can be that passionate about it, about something at all, to the point where we give a little bit too much and then we get burned. But that's why it's great. Like, it's almost not worth it if you're not suffering from it a little bit. And I think that Harry had that, it's like you have that heartbreak and you're like, but this is why I love it, because I can't control it. And I think for me as well, a lot of the last couple of months has been, we talked about this on Pod Friends when we did that episode that I did a couple of months ago, was like, was it worth it? Has all of this been worth it? As I look out of like transitioning out of this phase, like, has it been worth it? And like yesterday, I spent so much time thinking like, of course it was worth it. Like, how could I ever question? Like, just finding the people like Harry or Eliza or you, many people listening to this who get it, and feeling that understood through the I don't know, the channel of Survivor, which is strange. I hear it. That in itself is worth it. Like, that has been, and everything else, sure. But it really got me, because I felt like, like Harry said, it's about leaving. And I was like, I feel that. And it got me on that day. And there's some of my favorite final words. Like, they really hit me where I specifically needed it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the next phase, of course, but I'm looking back like Harry, just like grateful for what, even in its kind of hardest moments, this show has given me. And I'm glad that Harry spoke to that.
I'm so happy for you. Even when you're making Harry's moment about yourself, it still makes me very happy.
I did it at the end of the podcast. We're an hour plus.
You started at the beginning too. It's okay. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. Listen, I'm happy for you regardless, friend.
I take you out of what I just said about the people I've met.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm happy for you regardless, and I'm happy that Harry got to play again. I would love to see him play again because he's my favorite, so I don't care. But I can understand where people be like, "Hey, so many times you had to play so many times." I don't know. I don't care. He's my favorite. I don't care when it comes to players like Harry or or just this show in general. Like I said, we've been burned before, but it's the journey. It's the fun of watching it. It's the fun of like the people who getting to play it. Getting cast on the show is the journey for some people. Just they're able to look back and say, "Hey, I applied 1 billion times and I finally got through," and they can tell that story the rest of their lives. It's cool. It's a cool ass show. I'll give it that. It's very fun for me. I get to talk to cool people about it, but I also get to watch cool moments. And this show has given me a lot of that. So yeah, pour one out for my dirty idol here, because I'm very sad to see him go, but got some cheesy points to give away, don't we?
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I also think in terms of I'm just like moving past the process of all this emotional stuff.
I'm moving past this.
No, I do think as well. It's like that's like it. I wanted Anonymous. Like, I want Harry in the show.
Yes.
But like, the show is meaningful because it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
Beautiful victories. No, ugly victories, beautiful defeats. If it wasn't that, if it was so easy all the time, it would be meaningless. If your favorites won every time, what would we even be doing? The point is sometimes you're outraged and you're sad, or things don't work out in all parts of this. And that's why it's beautiful. And I think with Harry, like losing Harry here, that's like, that's a heartbreak. That's what, it's making you feel something, which is awesome. But like, also, why is Harry saying he's never playing again? We have people on 50 playing 20 plus years later. Like, to be fair, the way the ratings are, maybe none of us are playing. No one's playing again. It's not been going well. But never say never, Harry, please.
Yeah. AU versus the World season 2 coming soon. In my mind, Dirty Harry versus Rob Session. Don't make me choose. I agree. I agree with all the things you said, and this is how you come up with other faves too. Once your faves get voted out, this is when you start to establish new stars. We can't just rest on the laurels of the stars that we already have. We have to build new ones so that when AU Survivor 50 comes around and we're 1 billion years old, we're not saying, why isn't this person here? We got a lot of people to choose from. So, again. Yeah. And look, there's some interesting thing going on with this cast. So I think we might have some stars in the midst, maybe.
Yeah, well, I don't like how Simon said the same thing like before the season. He was like, "This is my trilogy." It's like, just because it's 3 doesn't mean it has to be over. Okay, you can play a lot of different times. Please don't take this away from us. But you did mention the cheesy. We have to do that. Let's take it away, Jacob Sager Weinstein and MC Color. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's getting kind of cheesy. 3, 2, 1. All right, last cheesy points for a while. I'm going to give 3 points to Cameron for me. I felt like Cameron never deviated from Harry, and I agree that it should have been Harry. So, and I don't know if it was only Harry because of the Flint, but Harry goes home. Whatever happened to he wanted Harry to go home. He was right that Harry should have gone home. He has power, and Harry went home. So even though Cameron doesn't get as much screen time, I'm still giving him 3 points. I'll give 2 points to Jackson, who did exactly what he needed to do, and he did it well. He outran Harry, and Harry got eaten by the leopard, and I don't think Harry thought he had it in him, but he did. So I'm giving 2 to Jackson, and I'm giving 1 to Asha. I wouldn't have used the advantage, but again, much of a muchness. Her power was clear. She was kind of more between the 2 options. So I'm still, giving more to Cameron. Lottie was on keeping Harry, and I see parts of it for her specifically. It's not what happened, maybe because of the Flint. And also, I think even for Lottie, I still agree I'd let Harry go. I mean, again, he's just not especially having Brooke on the other side, especially having Brooke's connections on the other side, especially Harry must know Mark. Let him go. It's heartbreaking to let him go. So those are my points. Chappell, what points are you giving?
I'll give 3 to Lottie because I think she's in charge. I think that none of this. I think that if Lottie says Harry goes, Harry goes. And I think that there were moments where the show gave us that, you know. And I can only go off of what the show shows us because, you know, God knows what really happened, but this is what they gave us. And so I want to give her credit because she is in charge. And she doesn't seem like she's a target for being in charge. She seems like she's actually squashed all the people who would target her for being in charge. You know, aside from maybe the stray Jackson, I mean, she got Harry out, she got Paula out. The insurrection was stopped, you know, and so I want to give her credit for that. I too will give to Jackson. You know, he had to outrun Harry, and he did. You know, and it made him look like a cool guy. Honestly, giving that Flint back and just being like, hey, you could vote me out, but I would never do that to you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who I think I could work
with.
What
a line.
You know? Yeah. Even though it could be a complete like falsehood, but I don't care. It could be such a lie, but it sounded like it wasn't. It sounded like, yeah, Harry, that's beneath me. I could never. Vote me out, but please don't starve my people. Bring them into my alliance right now, okay?
Yeah.
And then Cameron, because like you said, he wanted Harry out. He never deviated. He got what he wanted. I don't think he's in charge. But also, and so I don't really know how I feel. I don't know yet because I don't like who is his number one. I think that's my issue.
Asha. I think he's really close with Asha. I think they're all close. Like you don't need to be the head of the snake and day. What are they? Day 9? It's fine.
I think Lottie and Asha are number ones. I think
I feel like
Caleb
Asha is there. Cameron. I don't know.
I think. See, that's what I'm saying. I think because every time we see Lottie's strategizing, she was Asha. Maybe Asha's in the middle, and she has.
I think Asha is in the middle. I
thought Lottie was the godmother and she had her branches. Is kind of how I was looking at it.
I mean, we don't know. We're just speculating.
So that's why I'm kind of looking at Lottie as the power center when it very much could be Asha, or it could be Cameron. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, they're all doing well. Let's put it that way. They all have some shizzy points, which is good. This is it, Chappell. This is it. The precipice of. Anyway, do you have anything you want to plug?
No, everybody just send some positive vibes and prayers and all the good stuff that you got in your system and around you to Shannon. She's about to go have a baby and we're all rooting for you.
When this comes out, there'll be a baby already. Hopefully.
Okay, well, root for the baby's name to rhyme with lapel.
That'd be crazy. No, that would creep you out. Imagine if I did that.
Trust me, I am always lobbying for people to name their children after me. Please, I have a hat on. I'm like Kobe. I'm wearing a cowboy hat. You should name your kid after me. But no, this is all good. And again, yeah, probably by the time you hear this, Shannon's already done her thing. But you know, send her good vibes on this new journey because she keeps acting like she's transitioning away from something, and she's not. This Survivor's not all consuming for her. She has other this lady contains multitudes. She's very talented, and she'll be back with us in no time to shine on this podcast. And you can all dox Mike Bloom and say that he's not a good host in the meantime. You know, he can take it. The golden god uncle. You know,
okay. Don't do to these ratings what has happened to the Australian Survivor ratings. Although this will come out in a couple of days, maybe ratings will have improved. So let's all hope for that. Thank you guys. Thank you to the recap bitches for holding down the fort. So again, we'll have a guest for the next episode 6, and then the weeks are going to be Mike with Chappell, Mike with Kuya, Mike with a guest. I will drop in if ever possible. Follow me at Shannon Gate in case I ever do. And also definitely stay subscribed to the We Know Global Survivor feed because that's where all that is. So make sure you're here, and I'll be listening. I'll be judging.
That's a threat. That sounds like a threat.
At the podcast. Yeah, like don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. And then I'll be texting Mike angrily, and he'll be like, "I have no control here." And then anyway, thank you all. This has been fun. A fun first few episodes. Harry and I are leaving together. It feels right. It's sad. It's so sad. I'm glad I got the Harry arc at the very least. But thank you all for listening. Thank you to our team behind the scenes. Thank you, Chappell. I won't see you next time. But bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.